Clean pick up by Cameron Smith.
Hold your breath.
They're going to overrule this referee.
Hold your breath.
And he grounds the ball in the in goal. We have a decision.
Oh, the try-scoring machine. Hey? Oh, stop it.
Oh, thanks, Appy. You
Wow.
helped me. That's a try assist from Appy, I reckon.
Mate, how you feeling when that happens? Try in the grand final.
Unbelievable. I'd never scored one before, ever, in a grand final. But no, that was a good feeling because it put a little bit of a. Well, we started well. We scored a fair few points in that first half, but it just put a little bit of a buffer on them heading into half time. So good time, great timing to get that one as well.
Oh, perfect. Especially, considering the end result of the match. But mate, I'd love to get you perfect timing because obviously Storm v Panthers. But just from my perspective, I remember, and I would love to get your insight on this. I remember watching this, and when both teams ran out, I remember noting, wow, Penrith look amped up. Like they look like they are about to go out and fight someone. And it was their first grand final as a side. Yep. And I remember looking at Melbourne, obviously yourself, and going, geez, they look calm. Like they looked almost walking out. And it was something that I really noted, and I would love to get look, maybe I'm drawing too much, looking at things too closely, but from your perspective, was there something you said to the boys or what?
No, I think that was in our preparation and our lead up. Like we had a pretty good two semi-finals leading into that match where, we played well and we were confident in our game plan and how we thought we could beat the Panthers. So I remember we played them earlier in the year, right? So that was that 2020 year, no crowds and all that different stuff, and you played teams at different grounds. We played them at Campbelltown, all right, and it was a tight game. They ended up winning by about 8 or 10 points. And I just remember coming off the field that night and thinking to myself, if we get another chance to play these blokes, we weren't scheduled to play them again in the regular season, but if we get a crack against them in the finals, turns out to be the grand final, I'm confident we can get them because we didn't play well that night, right?
Yeah,
so anyway, the next 10 games or whatever happens in the regular season, we get to finals, we play quite well. But I remember the preparation that week. We were based up on the sunny coast, and I remember feeling really good about our build-up and the game plan that we're going to take down there and knowing and understanding how they were going to play, right? So we touched on this a little bit earlier. That year, they'd won 17 consecutive games, I think it was, leading into that match, right? So they were on fire. They were breaking records or equaling records for, consecutive matches won, points scored, all this different stuff. They were smashing teams.
Yeah.
They were annihilating teams. They were beating teams by 30 or 40 every single game.
Yep.
Right, so they had this style of footy that they were upbeat, they yahooed, and when they scored points, they were jumping around, getting on each other's backs and shoulders and all that sort of stuff. And they still do a little bit of that now, but that's that upbeat, brash style of footy that they played, right? And so being a part of that first grand final for them, and being young, and they were excited. They were so amped up to be a part of it. Like that's how they ran out and that was their mindset, right? Whereas we were like, okay, well, we know our game plan. We know exactly what we need to do. We each know our roles as individuals, right? Let's just go out there and execute it. It's a game of footy.
Yep.
All right? It's a game of footy. And thankfully, there was a few of us that had been to grand finals before. So, it was good for those younger guys that hadn't been there previously to sort of lean on us a little bit about what the week was about and the preparation and the build-up and what to expect come game time. Not knowing that we were going to be put under the pump right from that first kickoff. So we kick off, not ideal. There was a little bit of rain about, okay, so it was a bit slippery. They kick off and it was a wobbly old one right near the sideline. We knocked the ball on the first play.
My God.
And I'm running back thinking, oh, well, this isn't great.
Oh, mate.
That's not the way you want to start a grand final. But, hey, that as you mentioned, mate, and our mind and the way we sort of come out for that game, relaxed and confident and all that sort of stuff, we just fell into our next job. Our next job was to get back in our try line and defend our try line. So we defended that. I remember being it was almost like we're pinned on our own line for a couple of minutes there, but
frantic.
Eventually, they peppered us. They were peppering us sideline to sideline, inside balls, big men, short balls, throwing the ball wide, blah, whatever. Defended it all, seen it off, and then we end up jagging that first try out in the corner where it ended up being a penalty try. So Justin Olam goes to score that try, gets kicked out of his hands. That's now illegal. Can't kick at the ball. Got the kick from in front. Got that then we got into a bit of a tussle where the game was sort of back and forth for a fair bit of a period of time. We got a couple of penalties. And because we had that wet night and we knew we were playing against a very good side, that, hey, points were going to be a premium. So we took a couple of penalty goals, pushed it out. Sully ends up getting an intercept try.
Oh,
Probably the worst pass I've seen Nathan Cleary throw in about 5 years.
What about the catch from Sully, though?
Remarkable.
Oh, my God.
He come up and he was up in the air, about 6 feet in the air, took the intercept. Mate, falls to the ground. If you watch the vision, he's actually on the ground. He's on one knee.
Mate.
He gets up off the ground, then fends off Joshy Mansour and then goes 85 metres or whatever it was and scores. Big play for us.
Yeah.
And then, of course, come out second half and we put on a set play from the scrum that we'd practice, right? We'd run it a few times at the back end of the year. And Paps he set up Nathan Cleary beautifully. So he got Big Nelson outside him.
Yeah.
So I pack in at lock. I pass the ball to Paps. He's at first receiver. And he gets Big Nelson running on like a drop-off play. And he knows that Nathan's he's just gonna check him briefly, right? So all he needs Nathan to do there is just to plant his feet momentarily, and then he knows he's got him for pace. So that's when he burns him on the outside, goes down and scores. That puts us at what, 22-0, I think it was, something like that.
Just quickly on that, Smithy, what I loved about that play is you'd actually been working over Cleary in the first half quite a lot with a similar-ish play.
Yeah.
And it was the one time I'm pretty sure that Pappy held it,
yes,
rather than giving
dropping
it
off. Yes.
And it was just
Set
a
him up
masterclass.
beautifully.
Just a masterclass, yeah.
Yep. So you play the drop off, play the drop off. Fourth time, bang, go yourself. So you set him up beautifully. But then anyway, it was almost a capitulation in the end.
Oh my God.
In the end, so we only ended up getting away with it by a couple of points, but it was mate, it was, looking back on it now, it was one of the more incredible premierships to be a part of, given the situation of that season where, it paused for 7 weeks or whatever it was. Then we had all the rigmarole of, our situation in Victoria, right? How, with all the strict rules down there, where we weren't allowed to train in Victoria as a group. So we had to go up. We had to travel up as a team over the border, train in Albury because that was New South Wales, and you're allowed to train as a large group up there for a week or two in preparation for the restart of the comp. Travel back home. We start up and then we get told, no, righto boys, relocate. And so half of our football squad, okay, so that's players and staff. And look, I'm not saying, geez, feel sorry for us, because there was many, many people in the same situation as us, but very new to us. We didn't, we were apart from our families for 6 months.
Mate.
You know what I mean? So
Wild.
it was challenging. It was very challenging. I remember at the time, and I sort of had a bit of a giggle to myself, there's a bit of commentary around, oh, mate, the Storm are going so well because they're up in Queensland. They're in this resort and it's sunny, it's warm and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, hey, listen, the weather was great.
Yeah.
But the situation was far from ideal.
Yeah.
Being sort of locked in a compound, not allowed to go anywhere, and you're separated from your partners, your wives, your children, or your loved ones.
Oh, man.
But to be able to get it done, mate, and under the circumstances was a great feeling.
Yeah.
Just a really a feeling of accomplishment. I think that was very different to the other grand final victories that I experienced.
I mean, because you'd been tested so much of stuff that had nothing to do with rugby league,
Yeah.
It's just, an incredible, and I guess it's almost fitting that one of the best clubs of the last 20 years, in one of the toughest years as a club, gets the premiership. It's almost deserving.